In order to assess flexibility, we will go through the Canadian Trunk Forward Flexion Test, the YMCA Sit and Reach Test, the Chair Sit and Reach Test, and the Thomas Test. Before any assessment, complete a warm-up in order to stretch the muscles being assessed, which include the lower back muscles, hamstring muscles, the quadricep muscles, and the hip flexor muscles. The Canadian Trunk Forward Flexion Test assesses the flexibility of the hamstring and the lower back muscles, and here the shoes have to be removed. First, have feet flat against the box, and then reach forward, making sure the knees are not bent and the hands are on top of each other evenly. Exhale as you reach forward and hold the position for 2 seconds. Lastly, make sure the assessment is done twice. The YMCA Sit and Reach Test also measures hamstring and lower back flexibility, and the shoes should also be removed. First, place a yardstick on the floor, and then place a piece of tape on the 15-inch mark. Your feet are then placed on the tape's edge and should be around 10 to 12 inches apart. When ready, reach forward, making sure your knees are not bent, fingers touch the yardstick, and that one hand doesn't lead more forward than the other. Hold this position for 2 seconds and make sure the assessment is done twice. Next, the Chair Sit and Reach Test assesses hamstring flexibility, is intended for the older population age 60 or older, and shoes may stay on for this assessment. Once seated, extend one leg and have that leg's ankle dorsiflexed while keeping the untested leg flat on the floor, and have your head in normal alignment. Have your hands on top of each other evenly, palms facing down, and when ready, reach forward, bending at the hip. Exhale as you reach forward, keeping the spine as straight as possible and head is not tucked, and hold this final position for 2 seconds. Also, make sure you do this assessment twice on the left leg and twice on the right leg. Lastly, the Thomas Test assesses hip flexor flexibility, and shoes may be worn for this assessment. Lie down facing up on a mat and bring one leg up to your chest while keeping the other leg straight on the floor. Once you've held that position for a few seconds, you switch legs and try it again. Be sure to do this assessment 2 times. The Canadian Trunk Forward Flexion Test assessment scores in centimeters, and out of the 2 trials done, the best number is a number used for classification. My score was 24 centimeters. Since I am a 21-year-old female, on this table provided, my flexibility is classified as needing improvement. For the YMCA Sit and Reach Test, the test scores in inches, and out of the 2 trials completed, the best number is also used as the number used for classification. My score was 15 inches. And again, since I am a 21-year-old female, based on this table provided, my flexibility is classified as well below average. For the Chair Sit and Reach Test, the test scores in inches, but the scoring depends on the placement of the fingertips. If the fingertips don't reach the toes, the space between the big toe and the fingertips is considered a negative score. If the fingertips touch the big toe, the score is considered 0. If the fingers go past the big toe, the length of space past the big toe is considered a positive score. And lastly, for scoring in the Thomas Test, there are only 2 categories to choose from. If the straight leg stays in contact with the mat while the other leg is against the chest, the score is considered flexible. But if the straight leg comes off contact with the mat, the score is then considered inflexible. By observing my demonstration, I am considered flexible.